Continuing on with Gamesmaster magazine from August of 1999, we have got a 2-page review of Capcom Generations. Now, this is my cup of tea, sort of. Let's get on to it. Data format review, PlayStation, price $34.99. Out July, developer Capcom, publisher Virgin Interactive. Call, telephone number, players 1 to 3. Special features, 4 discs. Don't get that every day. Other formats, numerous old ones. So in light of retro gaming, who's retro gaming? Well's retro gaming. Bring out your dead, and no doubt Capcom will scoop them out the gutter, wrap them up in a pretty box and try to flog them to the nearest passerby. Reviewer Dave Harrison. Capcom Generations. When it comes to re-releasing games from days gone by, it usually comes down to quantity rather than quality. Capcom has been wheeling out their old pap quite a lot recently with very ordinary results. But this time, a balance has been struck between gameplay, nostalgia, and value for money. For the price of one title, Capcom Generations, you'll get 4 submitted discs, offering you a total of 13 different games. 4 discs. Wings of Destiny contains the vertical strolling shoot 'em up trio 1942, 43, 43 Kai Chronicles of Arthur as the platforms of Ghost and Goblins, Ghost and Ghost, and Super Ghost and Goodlands. The first generation places the platform shooter Son and the shoot 'em up Vulgus and Exceed excesses alongside the barrel chunking puzzler Higurumi, and the final disc entitled Blazing Guns as Commandos, Gunsmoke and Mercs. Golden Oldies. The advantage with this selection compared to the repetitions of Street Fighter collection is that there is enough variety to hold your interest past the simple retro novelty stage, offering a reset from the 3D polygon world we now inhabit, which I may add is now the reverse. To a certain extent, it also makes up for one of the PSX deficits. There is a lack of truly fly and blast goodies on the PlayStation. Omega Boost and R-Type Delta have tried to fill in the void, but nothing beats the old style bob and weave of the 2D classics. And I need to put a light on. 1 second. That's better. Now, where was I? Additionally, with Ghost and Goblins threesome, it's refreshing to play a platform that's immediately and accessible compared to the converted swirl camera action for 3D platformers now bring. Brine Melt. On the first generation disc, the oddity is Hangamongi would probably make it onto today's Game Boy release list as it holds the interest for a bit. But Sun with its strange mockery TV show hero and fruit-picking frolics is just plain weird. There are disappointments as well. Both excesses and Vulgars are very early shooters that look laboured, even compared to 1942's action out of the 3 discs. Gunblazing is probably the most fun, and the gameplay is familiar and doesn't require fancy L1s or thumb slides. Continuous play is addictive, and slowly you'll find that your brain switches off your mouth because you're slightly agreed from the start to drool. Even the bright lights of Mercs fail to bring you out of the highest stare of consciousness where you and the game are one. You don't think, you just react. The downside is that rather than having 13 complete different titles, there are 2 trilogies included, which seems a cheap way of filling the space. Also, there are 5 vertical strolling flying shoot-em-ups. You can fiddle all you like with the various projectiles and the enemy's threats, but the gameplay is still the same. So while it looks like Capcom have the package spilling over with goodies, they haven't really had that generous with the helpings. Old schooling. Sure, retro is fun. Reliving your old console days, weaving in and out of old 2D flack is a barrel of laughs with a few minutes, but you want to settle down for a good few hour gaming, this wouldn't be the best choice. One wonders who the publishers are actually trying to target. Older gamers have moved on to greener pastures for a reason, while the younger players will be underawed by the old experience. The best way to enjoy Capcom Generations is to hire it. You will have a kittish, fun-filled evening, taste its vintage flavours, and gasping at unspectacular graphics. But if shelled out 30 squids to take it home, it may well stay its welcome. Retro is fun. Reliving your old console days, weaving in and out of 2D FLAC, it's a barrel of laughs for a few minutes. Yeah, that sums up retro gaming in a nutshell. Obviously now, when this was out 20 years previously, or thereabouts, it was old school gaming. I mean, 20 years from now, it's The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. What the actual F? Where's the time gone to? The battle for the Pacific recreated in a 2D scrolling wonderland. How's this monster plane got in the air? I will never know. Here's some original artwork for you to go pack. Now that's special. Goose and Golds. Just a beard trim, please. Sonson is really old. I used to play this stuff on my Amstrad. This is a very old retro. Even for 25 years ago, this was old. Old oddball. Most games fit into a genre, but here's some that's strange enough to avoid defashion. While I suppose Ghouls and Ghost Goblins is a platform survivor horror catchy, even though that was actually on the Super Nintendo mini system. Here, the SNES outing for Ghouls and Ghosts, not just good, but super. Higmori is odd in the extreme, but simply simplicity makes it quite addictive. That's the whole point of gaming. Nothing beats the explosive action of Mercs. For such a simple looking platformer, this is harder than any Tomb Raider. That's actually quite true. Having three Goose games on the disc doesn't provide much variety. Freeze, hold it right there. Here it is, the biggest selection of shoot first games you'll find in one box. The range of quality is equally varied. Commando and Mercs are the best on the ground, while 1943 Kaie hits the heights in the skies. For all old games, 1943 Kaie is an extreme smooth, and it's good for any old school arcade action you'll find at the seaside. Gunsmoke, unfortunately, has a quite awkward aiming and firing system. The two-player action of Mercs really is one of the highlights of the disc. Brutally simple in its execution, it still goes quite as well. Vulgus and Excess Eyes have failed to add much that isn't already on offer with the Rings of Destiny. They're just slower. Lame game. Well, with the package, you get to flick through some old artwork and listen to some game sounds. Oh, for the dull reason. Shoot me in the head and one more time and I'll... Indeed. These scrolling fighters have the most annoying music you've ever had. Battle of the old school. With Capcom scrapping for some extra cash, how do they compare to Namco retro offerings? Money grabbing, Pac-Man, strange games, really poor graphics, strolling shooters, I should say. The Judgment, the big one. Try to get sexy with Art Gallery, but the option screens are frustratingly slow. Gameplay is all you're getting. Really easy to pick up because instinctive right from the bully off. Lifespan. Once you've given each one a spin, you're not exactly legging for more. Final Fantasy VII, needn't worry. The best bits, Mercs turn the clock back and its frantic trigger action really squeezes the stresses from you. The worst bit, the half-baked idea to include an array of ordinary artwork and some really dull tips. Nice to see old school friends have still got some life in them. This isn't going to set the world on fire, but it's worth a gander just out of curiosity, 65%. Buy yourself a 16-bit SNES or Mega Drive and pick these up for at least a few quid a piece. The problem is with retro gaming in general is that actually replaying games on consoles that they weren't designed for is a big pet hate of mine. Don't get me wrong, I've reviewed quite a few gaming handhelds now. Some of the games I can quite easily play on, other games are not. Some games are designed to be played on a TV, not on a small screen. Don't get me wrong, if I could get myself maybe a Raspberry Pi and have all these games on there with a proper decent controller, then yes, I would go for it. But the controllers are just not the same. However, that's not what we're here for. 65%, and thank you very much for watching this retro special. See you soon.